the revolution, thoughts about the before and eventually, inshallah, the after revolution, which has had its own glamour. Not enough to be, I don't know, recorded in any medium except for now. We're doing justice to those days on a limited scale for our grandchildren, eventually, again, inshallah. But still, after the revolution, the chance was to work for some mass media publications, not as a journalist, unless of course we count some days for Radio Sweden when we were sent on the field, Radu, Miha and I, because our correspondents stayed at the hotel at the Intercontinental and mine was a woman. Let's just stay with Christina for now. And the other fellow, I don't recall his name, he was a correspondent for the Times. Impressive, clever fellow, and the two of them had something going on, maybe. And in some days they decided, hey, you go ahead, and if they just overthrow the government, we'll get in touch. We didn't have mobile phones, of course, back then. We'll find a way, and then they will come to see. Unless something extraordinary happens, we'll just report it's another day on the battlefield. The usual number of dead. No, I'm just kidding. There were some slow days. There were some crazy days. In one, we could have been shot dead when the miners came down to, kill and beat up people. I mean, it wasn't the intention to kill. It was just thinking of lynching Corneliu Coposu, most important, leader of the opposition and a hero, a role model, something saintly, something. You have Che Guevara on one extreme. I mean, despicable to me because of being a communist. But then he would be at the other extreme. A noble figure, inspiring as Che Guevara is for many, but just because they don't know what revolting figure that is. But with all the good traits, with all Corneliu Coposu. And the following day, so we went out. It was pandemonium on the streets, and the following day we found a bullet in the engine of the car, stopped somewhere, carburetor, something, whatever. I what one thing or another is in the engine. Well, a few. The battle. So it stopped, but in those days I was thinking it was going to kill Adrian, who was on the passenger seat in front. But then, more recently, I realized it could have also been me if we're putting if and what. Because with the car moving and the fellow doing the shooting also on the move, he wasn't a sniper at that time. They were just people doing crazy things. A fraction of a second of movement could have meant another angle, and then it's not. We're alive and kicking. Alive and kicking. Who's this? Maybe it will come to me. The favorite song and the band I like. For the moment, it doesn't come to me. So anyway, this is going ahead. We're still, I'm still trying to unwrap the events leading to, it's in the movies, 10 years before, 20 years before. Well, if it's 20 years before. There's not much to say, I mean, in terms of childhood, the child of a hero of the revolution. I mentioned a little that it was just 2 rooms for 4 people. These were the communist days for you. And playing in a street between apartment buildings. Although they had something interesting in that backward, in Baltaal, in fact, the white pond for some reason, or maybe it was a pond before and it looked white, or they just threw some chemical waste which made it white. I don't know. But so there was this apartment building, dormitories for the working class, and there were some houses, and in fact one house had a sort of a free small enterprise guy, because he had a garden, maybe not bigger than this one you see over there, and like you see a few flowers, he had flowers, carnations. And I know that because at one point I thought I'm falling in love. That's not complicated. I keep mentioning Thomas Mann, who says we must be crazy in real life to keep using words and then exaggerating. Oh, I love you so much. There are no words to express what I feel. Nonsense. Love, you find in fiction, not in real life. In real life, when that's tested, it proves it's just infatuation, attraction, hormones, testosterone. He doesn't say those things, but I'm just making up, and I'm just saying it's not love. I forgot what he says it is when it's just wrong. But anyway, we have das jest in Michigan, there was this blonde girl in a different class, and I thought, wow, she's so great, and I thought, I'm falling in love. C'est une belle de bûcher, formant blonde et d'une allure de nude statue de bûcher. Elle est en moi bien plus encore qu'une flamboyante enceinte. Follement, anyway, Verlaine, Verlaine, some poems by Verlaine, Shakespeare, or How Thy Worth with Maneskin I sing, and oh, the better part of me. What can my own praise to my own self bring, and what it's but my own when I praise thee? It was also funny. It sounded funny at one point. I done some for Sherika. She was a very special. Not the most beautiful I've known, as on the contour which matters least, the surface, but probably the most beautiful inside. And attractive outside. I'm just saying we're getting to the point where I will talk a lot, I guess. Maybe not. Some things I've forgotten, that's clear. I understand there's a stress is this thing called stress-induced memory loss, misromania. So technically, theoretically, the most beautiful of them all. But as we know, these beauty contests are in disgrace now, because they're just women parading in front of men, and women. I think there were also women in the panel, and then costumes, bathing costumes, and showing them as a cattle buyout or a slave thing. I don't know what the criticism would be about to be. There's a movie with I don't have the name. Keira Knightley. Anyway, and showing some of the ridiculousness of that, and boycotts and protests that happened decades ago when Bob Hope was tell me. And so you have, I don't know, a number of dozens of girls that come out because they want to take part, and after that you select one who is good looking like they are, and then she also has some je ne sais quoi, and then she's the queen of beauty, but that doesn't mean you have the most beautiful in this land or another country. But still, we'll come to that when we reach 1991 or 2. Now we're just in 1982, thereabouts. So I was saying, in childhood, there were some houses, and then from one of those who had a sort of in a garden this place, and also a hot house. Did I buy those carnations in winter? And so in Mishu, when I was 15, Traptador, high school was finished in 2 places. First, Mate Physica 3 was 1, and then another in Hamfitaz, 2 years. The last 2 years, so I was already 16 in Mihamfitas, and so I liked this blonde girl, and went to buy each morning a carnation from this house, from this fellow who had a small business, grew, who knows, 200 carnations in more, 1,000, who knows, how many can you grow in a small place. But surely it would have been out something else to carnations, and then change or have one crop on it, whatever. So, and I would go early in the morning and put the carnation on her desk. That happened for a few days, but not many. After 5, 6 of them, she said, "Well, who is doing this?" That fellow came with one, or anyway, said for that day, and it stopped. I'm not interested. And then there was a connection with another girl from another class, not mine. In my class, I think we only had 5, 7. Anyway, a very small proportion. Most of us were 30 boys, and as I said, 5, 7 girls. And of those, none was of too much interest to me, I think, and vice versa. But this girl from a different class was interested for some time, and we talked very little in the beginning, and then we started taking the same trolley bus on the way to school. In fact, I would go to Iore, to the place where she was, and together. But I was so silly and stupid that I couldn't find anything to say to her. So there were those long trips to the high school, during which I said, it's true, which explains in a way the consequent evolution, or not progress, but regress, the downfall, disintegration, the fact that now I'm talking nonsense. I mean, I was wiser when I was 16 and said nothing, because I had nothing to say, and it's better to stop blabbering if you don't find something worthy. But that was a period of so much frustration. It's true, she knew so much more. She had read books. I remember she was telling me about rugby. She was into rugby, about not playing because they didn't have women playing rugby back then. With her father, when I went to apartment, this building, also an apartment building, but much more refined, different people, different class, intellectual, watching tournaments and how cavalier it is, how gentlemanly, how, if they didn't use this, how fair, how, as opposed to football. Oh, you kicked me. Oh, you breathed in my direction. Oh, foul, penalty. No, it's a clash of people who are men, who don't start mourning for anything, and so there's another thing. But let's. Yesterday I spoke for a record time, 23 minutes. Let's leave something for tomorrow.